Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk, NFTs, crypto, and Web3. I am your host, Asia the Bird. Today, I have a very special guest with me today. She's a multiple disciplinary artist. Please welcome Brittany Pierre. Hello, Brittany, and welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to go ahead and get started by asking, where are you from, and tell us about your upbringing.
Well, originally I was born in Houston, raised there, moved to Chicago, then back to Houston, but now I am based here in Chicago. So growing up in Houston is kind of like growing up in the South Chicago because,
Mhm.
great migration. So you kind of get the whole Southern thing up here. So it wasn't too much of a culture shock, but
Right.
Houston is rich in history, especially with Black history. Juneteenth starting in Galveston, so I was raised around a bunch of that kind of culture. And then come up here to Chicago has been just incredible with the art scene and the more
Mhm.
opportunities up here for sure. So that's been pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. So what was like your school experience like? Did you go to college? What was like your whole school experience like?
So I did go to college twice. I'm not good at school because
Mhm.
of like autism, ADHD. I just
Mhm.
school that kind of structure wasn't really for me because they add on
Right.
classes that you don't even need. But
Right.
I did enjoy the the friendship aspect of it. I've met a lot of like lifelong friends there, and a few friends in filmmaking there. But I went to school originally for dance and business. I have a bachelor's in dance, ballet, jazz, tap, and I
Mhm.
studied kind of more the Alvin Ailey kind of side of it. And then I went
Right.
back to school a couple years ago to start my digital cinematography degree with Full Sail. But Web3 came along and I didn't have any type of time other than sitting on Twitter. So I'll probably hop back in there. But honestly, when it comes to creating, you can kind of forge your own path. So if school is the route you want to go, totally fine. But I found more success by just being open and willing and networking and taking opportunities kind of that way.
Absolutely. So what got you started into photography and film?
For photography, my grandfather on his farm back in Beaumont, he was a big photographer, so he kind of got me into that with just going in his stables. He had one horse that he always loved taking photos of, so I would kind of watch him that
Mhm.
way. And he also introduced me to my favorite photographer, Gordon Parks. And
Right.
so put it down, school, you get older, you kind of put it down, but I picked it back up with Hurricane Harvey back in Houston. What was that, like
Right.
2016, 2017, I think?
Mhm.
And I just fell in love with it again. And it started more as a hobby, but then people said I was good. So, I made them pay me. And that's kind of how it
Mhm.
started. With
Mhm.
film, more hobby stuff, but I have been working on a few documentaries. I've released some very obscure short films that have been out. And again, it's more of telling stories that aren't seen as opposed
Right.
to the regular slave or black woman, angry black woman. I wanted to tell stories that show black people just in everyday life that we are just regular humans too, beyond our trauma and through our trauma, how we can just be more humanitized so people can really understand how the black experience, especially in America, because I'm American, how the black experience can really be kind of beautiful throughout the pain.
Right. Most definitely. Now, who are like your favorite photographers or filmographers?
For photography, it's definitely Gordon Parks. Gordon Parks depicts black life in such a way that can, again, through the trauma, can really depict an ease and how we can just
Mhm.
enjoy life, how we do the same things that other people do, and it showed us in a real human, tangible sense. So for photography, my biggest inspo is Gordon Parks. For filmmaking, it's Ava DuVernay. What she was able to do. She started as PR, and then she didn't make her first movie until she was like 33 or 35, I believe. And how she's been
Mhm.
able to, on her own, really carve out this whole kind of career that's just
Mhm.
supersedes what a lot of people have been able to do.
Right.
But of course, all the
Mhm.
black greats, John Singleton, Spike Lee,
Mhm.
Cheryl, like anybody black in film is who I'm rooting for, like Issa Rae.
Yeah. Issa Rae said, "I'm cheering for everybody black."
Everybody black.
Yeah, right, exactly. Now, how would you describe in terms of like the film and photography scene in Chicago? Like how big is it in Chicago?
It's definitely growing. I just had a talk with which was crazy, with Chance the Rapper's music director and
Mhm.
a former NFL star. I want to say his name is Kyle Pratt. And we were talking about how the scene here is shifting because with Chicago, people tend to leave Chicago to places like LA or Atlanta. So we're trying to build up that system here to where we can be self sufficient. And we're learning that
Mhm.
that's through collaboration. So I do
Right.
see it growing. And we do have Columbia, which is a great film school here. I think Issa Rae went to Columbia. Maybe not Issa Rae.
Mhm.
Lena, I forget her name, but Lena, she went to Columbia. So we do have some notable people. But I do see the art
Mhm.
scene growing. There's been a lot of amazing Black artists coming out of Chicago. And I'm seeing in the next 10 years where this can be another kind of Atlanta where Black people can come here, affordable filmmaking because we don't have the taxes like LA, and
Mhm.
networking too because we're bringing in more talent.
Yeah, it's really cool because how the art scene is growing in Chicago. Like, I like how what Chance the Rapper's doing, and
Yeah.
I love how there's this one of the colleagues of mine that went to SCAD with me. Her name is
Oh, cool.
Chelsea.
Okay.
Yeah, Chelsea B. And she has her own crochet line. She's a crochet designer and she's,
I know
you
her.
know,
She does the baklavas, right?
yeah, those
Is
like
she on
those mushroom
TikTok?
hats.
Yeah, yeah. I know
Mhm.
her.
Yeah. So she's getting known in the Chicago scene and stuff like that. I'm very proud of her. She's part of the Jordan Women's Collective along with Astra Wife, who's a nail artist in Chicago.
Oh, okay, okay. That's cool.
Yeah,
I've
so
seen her stuff and I saw her out at a Joe Freshgoods event and I was like, I like what you're doing. You keep that up. She did something for Erica Badu, right?
I I think so. I know she did some for Flo Millie and for
That's okay. So, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it was Flo Millie and it was Baby Tate.
Gotcha. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I like how
I
the
didn't know you could
scene down there.
multitask.
Yeah. I like how the nail scene, how the not the nail scene, the creative scene is growing in
Yeah.
Chicago. I got
Yeah.
familiar with Hebrew Brantley, and he's out of Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
I love
amazing.
Hebrew. He is amazing. There's a mural right outside my house, and which is funny because I live in a white ass neighborhood. But there's a mural that I pass by every day, and I'm just like, I love seeing that. He's so good. He's so good.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's another nail artist that's out of Chicago. Her name is Spifster, and
I
she's
was gonna
very
say
cool.
Spitzer. Yep.
Yeah, she's very,
Yep.
very
She's done
talented.
some
I had a
really big things.
Yeah, she had her own like fashion line,
Yep.
her own deco spiff, her own decoration of furniture, her furniture
Yep.
line. I had a chance to
Yep.
interview her and she got into
Oh,
NFTs and stuff like
cool.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so
I'm in a group
so
chat with her on Instagram, and it's been cool to see her getting into the NFT side too.
yeah, right, exactly. So I want to get into your company, Brittany Pierre Visuals. So what was the journey in starting your own production company?
Well, still starting it a few years after, but I'm I grew up, my father's a he's been passed for a while. He was a Black Panther Party member. So I grew up very community minded. So my hope with my production company, we're turning it into a nonprofit. I want to
Mhm.
take the kids that are like 12 to 15 that are looking to get into the arts, older adults that are my age. I'll be 40 next year. Oh my gosh, I'm so old. Older adults that are looking into getting into art. I want it to be a
Mhm.
one-stop shop where we can have people like you come in and have a nail designing course, or
Mhm.
Katie, who is, or Kyle, who's doing the filmmaking. He can come in and he can show kids how to set up the back of the film because filmmaking isn't just behind the camera, it's the sound. So maybe you can get paid doing sound. So let's teach you that. Like, I really want it to be a one-stop shop kind of incubator for us and our community to have our own and put our own stories. Because with the Hollywood strike, we see how these big picture companies don't give a shit about us. So we could be
Mhm.
self-sustainable and have it be a more, I don't want to say a bartering system because I do want us to get paid too, but a more kind of give
Mhm.
and take to where, okay, I know this, you know this, I want to learn sound. Let me teach you how to use this black market pocket camera. We can do a whole bunch of short stories, spin up something like Issa Rae did 10 years ago, and now you have your production company now, and you can start nurturing your stories in your community. So my hope with Brittany Pierre Visuals, that's name needs to change, but it was to be a one-stop shop for us to really dive into the creative community, get our own opportunities, keep our money in our pockets and in our communities, and giving back that way. And that way we can start being self-sufficient, and we won't have to even worry about their money anymore. We can have our stuff, our stories, our money.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the thing is that throughout history, we've always built our own Wall Streets. And the thing is that we were always, you know, learning how to be self-sufficient on our own and things like that. And I think that should be definitely continued. And I'm glad that there's a lot of Black people building their own, you know, businesses, their own podcasts, you know, and that's like with our podcast. So it's not just talking about beauty, it's talking about art, fashion, especially getting into the NFT in Web3 space. So, you know, that's saying that with me, I want to be a one-stop shop where people can learn different things. And plus it gives the nail industry awareness of other avenues, you know, technology and things like that. So yeah, it's very important to really, for us to build our own. That's very important.
Yeah. Build our own, buy our blocks. So I want to have, especially out South Side and out West in Chicago, I want to have buildings to where kids, adults can come in. You ain't got to worry about rent. You don't have to worry about food. There's going to be a full fridge. There'll be a chef there. Come create. If you need a place to stay for a little while, I got beds. Like, I want us self-sufficient because we run culture anyway. We push culture forward, especially Black Americans. We push the culture forward. If we can finally get in front of that, they can't take it from us anymore because we're in front of it now. As opposed to being on the back end, they extract, and we're left with crumbs. And then they want us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. You ain't give us no boots. We walking around barefoot. So what straps they pulling? So I'm really hoping, especially with the new technology, new wave, that they can see, I can do this myself now. And that gives such a confidence. These last 2 years with me being able to be so self-sufficient, making the most money I've ever made, not realizing how much money I could make with my art, I had a boost of confidence. And I want other kids, adults, teenagers, I want us to feel that as a culture, as a people.
Yeah, absolutely. And also too, you know, it's also safeguarding, you know, what we build as well. I think that's very important. Safety, you know, for the youth is very important. You know, we don't want nobody tearing none of our stuff down or anything.
Exactly. You know? I hate to say it, but I'm kind of okay with gatekeeping some of our stuff, to be honest, so that it can stay safe, it can stay guarded, and we have people that we can pass the torch down to, because we're losing a lot of our greats. We are in this generation with the boomers, and then with even millennials, there was such a big gap because our parents had us so much older. We're losing some of our recipes. So we got to start carrying in our recipes and sharing them around to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Most definitely. So what drew your interest into NFTs and Web3? Like, who exposed you to it?
Well, I was poor as hell. And I've been following, I don't know if you know Swopes. I've been following Swopes on Instagram since Instagram started, honestly. Elise Swopes is one of the first iPhone artists. She started with she does photography too, but it was more kind of collaging. And so I had followed her one day. This was like at the beginning-ish of the pandemic. And she was like, I just made my first sale on Super Rare. It was $17,000 for this one photo. And I was like, hold up, I need to DM you. Please tell me how you did this, because I literally have $5 in my bank account. And so I just researched NFTs, marketplaces, all that good stuff. Of course, hopped on Twitter, unfortunately, which was the detriment to all of this because Twitter sucks. But hopped on Twitter and I just kind of dove in. That was terrible English. I dove in and I sold my first piece back when Hick and Nunk, which is Tezos chain, was out for like $10. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just sold my first photo. It was so amazing. And so I was like, okay, maybe I need to put a bit more effort. So I posted another one of my photos. Within 2 days, that sold for $200. And I was like, wait a second. This person paid me $200 just for a digital copy of this photo. Let me dive more into this. Let me put out some good work. And that's when I started putting out more photography. My high selling piece was for like 2 ETH, which was $6,000 at the time. And after that happened, the very next day I quit my job. I was working on set for a show called the 4400, which is canceled now. But I said, hey, today's my last day. Y'all have fun, but I need to focus on this. And ever since then, first year I was able to gross about 110K. Second year I was able to gross about 150K. This year I'm on track to it's, and I'm 38. First time seeing this kind of money. And so after that, I realized like this digital art can be good for us. Again, good for the Black community. So I started onboarding more Black people. I started the BIPOC wallet with Ed and Patrick, and we've been able to give out I've been able to give out almost 70, 80K of my own money, making sure that, paying rent, getting food, formula, when the formula shortage was out, back when foundation was like $200, $300 to mint, I would sponsor mint fees. But Swopes was definitely the catalyst to me diving in there and actually taking it seriously.
So you minted your first NFT back in 2021. What was that like experience, like first minting, your first NFT?
At first I was like, why am I spending $200 to put this on the computer? But I mean, it worked out because, it sold. But it was really interesting learning this technology, and it made me dive deeper on the technology side too, which I fear a lot of artists don't really go that far into it. They just mint and kind of like, okay, I hope it sells whatever. But it made me more interested on what the technology side of it could be.
Right.
So that's when I started learning like Rust and Solidity. I created 2 school curriculums for high schools out here for them to also learn Rust and Solidity for blockchain technology. So me minting was my, I guess, permission to myself to like, because I hate math and I don't think I'm that smart. So I was like, I could never learn coding. But NFTs gave me that permission to say, you know what, let me try to figure this out. If I can do this, I can do that. So it's just been really cool to kind of see it evolve that way. And not just like money wise, but just technology wise too.
I want to get into also with some of your NFT collections. So you've dropped a few NFT collections on platforms such as Foundation and Quantum. So tell us more about, a little bit about some of your NFT collections.
At the beginning, most of my NFT collections were photography. And it was, again, throwing back to my inspiration with Gordon Parks. I just wanted Black on the blockchain that was not about our trauma, that wasn't about poverty, that wasn't about gangs, all these stereotypes. I just wanted people to see Black faces, be beautiful, enjoy in celebrations, because unfortunately you don't get that a lot. And I figured if it's on the blockchain, you can never remove it. So that means it'll always be there, kind of immortalized. I know that's kind of a tricky way to say it. And so that's kind of where my photography went. And then with going into like 3D animation, AI, I just want people that look like me to know that you can pursue any type of art form you want.
Right.
At any given time. Again, I'm going to be 40. I felt old. Like, why am I learning how to code? I'm too old for this. But NFTs kind of gave myself the permission to be like, no, you can explore further. So with my collections, I wanted people to see Black people having fun. And then also people to see that, oh, I can learn something new and it can be cool and I can potentially get paid for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have your own initiative called BIPOC NFT. So tell us more about that initiative and the importance of highlighting and supporting Black NFT artists.
Yeah, BIPOC NFT wallet, again, was started. Ed, Patrick, and I had a regular Spaces show that would go, honestly, every day at first, but it ended up going until like 2, 3 in the morning, so we had to cut it short. But we noticed very quickly, unfortunately, the lack of support and opportunities that would come to Black creatives that weren't the big guys. Like, and no slight to them, but not everybody's a Drift, not everybody is a Diana, not everybody is a Terrell, and I wanted to give everyday Black folk the chance to just live and eat off their work. And so, again, with that BIPOC wallet, we would buy work, or if somebody said, hey, I need my rent paid, I'm about to get kicked out, I got you. If I got it, you got it. last year's Art Basel. Yeah, last year I was able to sponsor 5 Black queer creatives to go to Art Basel. I put $1,000 in their pockets. 3 of them also were able to speak on panels and get paid. So again, my whole thing is community minded. If I can get it, I'm gonna make sure somebody else that looks like me can get it too, because we need to be in these rooms. The one thing about all of these events, networking, getting in front of people's faces is super, super important. But we don't ever have that opportunity because of lack of funds, lack of support. So I wanted to make sure that people that look like me can get these opportunities to speak and network and everything like that. And so again, last year, I think I counted, we about 80K went through that wallet to help support other Black and brown creatives. My focus will always be Black women first, Black queer first, and then, you know, everybody else. But that's where that came from. And so it's been cool to see. Hopefully I'm turning it into a nonprofit. So hopefully we'll start getting a bit more funding, because I want it to be where there's always 100K in that wallet. So if anytime you need something, you know, you can come to us and you get funding, or you want to take a class or something like that. I got you. Here's the ETH, and you go for it.
Right, exactly. I remember a time like a few months back, or more than a few months back, you hosted a space where it was, I think it was you, and it was NFT Now. I think it was like Medved from NFT Now, and then it was like Super Cute and some of the other NFT brands that, you know, talked about stuff with you in terms of like, you know, highlighting different Black artists and designers in the NFT and Web3 spaces. So is it something that you plan to continue in terms of it like being like a series on like X Spaces, or, you know, formerly known as Twitter Spaces and things like
Yeah. Listen, his mama called him Twitter. I'm going to call him Twitter. I ain't saying no X. That's ridiculous, and I hate what Elon is doing. But with me, I did get burnt out with spaces. That space came about because Black History Month was on its way, and I didn't see anyone talking about it. I didn't see any platforms, barely saw any artists that weren't really us saying, okay, what can we do to get some? Because every other holiday, or the Ukraine war, which I understand they needed help, raised $1 million in 24 hours. You had the Pride Month. Everybody was doing stuff for Pride Month, but nobody was doing anything for Black History Month. And so I reached out to NFT Now, Super Rare, OpenSea, who didn't show up, but that's okay, and all the other platforms. Like, I want us to see that we are valued in this space. So I just made it an open forum. Black artists, please come up, share your work, share what you're doing, share if you need anything. If you're looking to connect with a dev, please come up and let us know. We were able to connect a few artists with devs, and they were able to do some generative projects and make some money. And so my whole thing is, I hate that we always have to do it, but sometimes we have to do it. I think for now, I'll definitely be doing it during Black History Month again next year. It's just Spaces gets a lot, and it's a lot to do, but people have asked for we used to have daily BIPOC spaces, so they have asked for those to come back. I just have to get up the energy to do it again. But it was well received. I got a lot of feedback from some of those bigger platforms, like, thank you. We reached out to them. We're going to commission them to do this. We're going to commission them to do that. A lot of people got sales that night. So it was just, I was sad that I didn't see it happening. So I was like, well, I'll just do it myself.
And, you know, and it was cool that you took the initiative to host something like that, because, you know, there again, it's about highlighting Black artists and Black voices in the NFT Web3 space, or just artists in general. You know what I mean? Because, you know, with the NFT and Web3 spaces, it's white dominated.
Yes.
You know,
White,
and a lot of these NFT brands are white owned. So,
yeah.
You know, the thing is, I'm glad, like, with what you did, it was to highlight Black NFT artists or people that had NFT collections. So that's cool to see that.
Thank you. I'll do it again. Most likely.
Yeah, that'd be really, really cool. So for someone who is new into the NFT and Web3 spaces, what would be some words of advice you would give for someone who wants to sell their own NFTs?
Find your tribe and get with people that have that same kind of passion, the same kind of ideals as you. Build that community. Don't mint just to get a sale. Remember that blockchain is provenance too, so you're kind of solidifying your spot on the internet forever. Be authentic, be real, be yourself. I get a lot of shit for how I talk on the timeline, but I'm never not myself. And that's how I've gotten that many opportunities. And just know not everybody's going to make these sales. Sometimes it's a $10 sale here, a $50 sale there, but that does not measure your success. The amount of money you sell a piece for, or the amount of money you make, does not make you a good or bad artist. As long as you are putting out your best work, what you feel is your best work, and something that is truly you, somebody is gonna connect with it, and you'd never know what those opportunities might come after that. So the biggest thing is just be you, be authentically you. Don't try to copy. Just because you see something sale for 500 ETH, don't try to copy it because people gonna know. Just put out what's authentically you, and somebody will find you.
Absolutely. So back in 2020, NFTs was the rave, and I remember learning about NFTs on Clubhouse a little bit. It was on, I think it was on NFT Tips. I would go to that space like every day almost and learn about NFTs, and so that's how I got exposed to NFTs and Web3 and what it was. So I feel like, or what I've been seeing, I haven't been in the NFT Web3 space in a while. NFTs seem like it's like losing its popularity, and AI is getting more and more advanced and more popular, in terms now. So AI is more popular. What is your take of AI and where it's going, as well as the standing of NFTs? And do you think NFTs and its market will lose its popularity in the Web3 space?
NFTs as they are now, yes, because a lot of it was speculation based. People were just trying to get a quick 500K from an ape, not realizing that it's the blockchain technology behind the NFT that should be what's innovating. So I'm loving how Prohibition Art is letting any artist kind of collab and do generative work so they can learn that. You have places like Transient Labs that are coming out with really cool concepts for their smart contracts. And I think the model of NFT now with the whole PFP, trying to just make a quick money, generational wealth, I kind of hope that goes away. And artists and builders and real builders, real innovative people will start coming to the forefront and saying, I learned this. Look at how I use this with my NFT. So I do hope that it's the technology that will advance, because that'll also advance the Web3 space. Sorry, what was the other part of the question?
What is your take of AI and where it's headed?
Honestly, AI as a tool can be phenomenal. AI as a tool is helping me learn coding. AI as a tool helped me build a pitch deck to pitch to something that I've been wanting to do for a few years.
Right.
And I tell everyone it is just a tool. You can choose to learn, or you can choose to use the tool, but you need to learn what the tool is, especially us. Black folks have never been able to be this early to something that's this innovative, that can change the trajectory of almost any industry this early. So if we don't learn it, we just blow it off. That means those opportunities are going to go to somebody who knows that technology. I tell people that look like us, learn it. You don't have to use it, but AI isn't going to take your job. Somebody that knows AI is going to take your job. So at least have the amount of knowledge you think you need to where you can understand the technology. It's inevitable. AI's been here forever. I think back to like 2003 with FL Studio. That's AI. Most of your recording equipment or hardware is AI. Software is AI. It's just now in this different iteration. But again, as long as we learn it, we stay on top of it, we can get those opportunities. I'm trying to make sure that Black folk ain't writing it off, because yes, there's always going to be bad players. That's in any and every industry. But again, if we can get on top of it, get in front of it, that'll put us in a better position to be able to profit off of it.
Absolutely. And where AI is going now, I like how, like, with AI is kind of like getting into fashion to a certain degree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially metaverse fashion too.
Yeah.
And the thing is also with AI, like you got Midjourney, you have different things in terms of like ChatGPT and these other platforms, for helping you, like, you know, in terms of writing to a certain extent and things
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
So it's getting more advanced, you know. Then there's like
Yep.
self-driving cars and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I use some of my AI artwork. Like there's one on Maker's Place. I use
Mm-hmm.
AI to build a story, and now with that story, I ran it through Midjourney. So now I have a whole series of art that I can use. I can run those through Runway, make little mini movie clips, or I can do a full animated movie. I can't draw, but now with AI that can assist me in my ideas, that means that I can be even more creative. So
Right.
again, the tool is there. At least learn it so you are not left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if you had a top 5 list of your favorite NFT brands, what would they be and why?
Ooh, brands, that's a hard one because I don't like none of them. No, I'm just playing. Honestly, Dead Fellas is number one. I knew Betty once she started about almost 3 years ago. Always loved what she's done as a woman lead. And she's married, so she's doing this as a married mother of I think three,
And like two
two or
kids?
three kids. Yeah.
Mhm.
So she's doing all of this, traveling the world, being a mom, being a wife, being a businesswoman. She champions women and queer people in the space. She's helped me with events by sponsoring them. She has no hesitation with helping others. And I like how she does her business. She's more low key. She's not going to tell you what she wants to do. She's going to show you what she's done. And so that's why I stick with Dead Fellas, no matter if the floor is high or low. Let's see who else. I think NFT media is going to be kind of cool. NFT
Mhm.
now is cool because they were the first, but I do
Mhm.
think it's going to evolve. So I'm really excited to see how that will happen. Let's see, NFT brands. I think that's pretty much it on the brand side. At least that stand out in my head right now.
Mhm.
Actually, Transient Labs, what they're doing with smart contracts again,
Mhm.
that's really, really cool. And they're opening it up now because it used to be just curated.
Right.
So any platform that's not curated, I'm down for because to me, that just sounds like gatekeeping. And a lot of the studios that are popping up, like there's I'm Not Art here in Chicago. There's the one in New York that's pretty cool that does a lot of stuff with Oculus. Um, I guess those are some, yeah. I don't know if that was five. I was trying to get to five.
Yeah, it's totally cool. But yeah,
Okay.
Dead Fellas is really is very, very cool NFT. That's a very cool NFT brand. I had a chance to interview Betty
Oh, cool.
in terms of the NFT collection of about
Uh-huh.
Dead Fellas. Another one I would say is Savage Nation. You
I know
know,
that
they're a pretty cool NFT brand and things like
one.
that.
Okay.
Same with Laid Back Llamas. I'm a Laid Back Llama holder.
Okay.
And they have I think they've released a children's book.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I like what Layback Llamas are doing.
Okay.
Another one is Soul Dog City. They're on Solana.
Lana, okay.
Yeah, so they're a cool NFT collection. And I think also to Tokyo Punk's by Ali Sabit. And he's a very talented artist, NFT artist.
Yeah.
I interviewed him also, and he was really cool. You know, he's
Uh,
very talented. So yeah. So I like what a lot of these brands in regards to what they do, they focus on utility. It's not just giving out a PFP. It's like, okay, I'm a holder. That's like the same with a kid called Beast. If I'm a holder, you know, what is something that I'll get with being a holder? You know what I
right.
mean? So that's something that I really like about a lot of these brands, that it's about utility.
Yeah. Yeah. Go somewhere. Go. Get. Sorry, my dog. Get. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I guess
So
we did that way. Yeah.
yeah, right, exactly. Now, how have you been able to balance, like, you know, mental health with being a businesswoman and an NFT artist and things of that nature?
Oh, it sucked up until like probably November, December last year. I was just going too hard. I was pushing myself. I was also making sure everybody else was good and not making sure that I was good. So,
Mm-hmm.
not doing that no more. I literally had a mental breakdown. I was in the hospital for a week. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
pretty bad suicidal ideation, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
because it's all day because you're on Twitter all day trying to catch your next collector, trying to get your next collab, or trying to get the next opportunity. And it felt like
Right.
it was go, go, go. And especially in Web3 world, everything is accelerated pace too. One day feels like 6 months, and you're like, oh my God, that was just 3 days ago. And so I really had to, I went to therapy, thankfully, to the Moris. So Crypto Moris is one that I liked. They were able to give us free therapy for a while as a holder, and then you could invite someone. So I got invited to use their therapy sessions. So I think anybody working in the mental health was pretty cool. But I had to be like, okay, I'm going to segment my days out. I am not going to touch Web3 on the weekends. I don't care what happens. I'm not trying to chase a flip anymore. I'm just going to work on doing the best art that I can do, learning different skills. And that's where I'll put my energy into, as opposed to chasing all this stuff, because it really did get too much. But now, thankfully, like, again, with Swopes, she helps me out. She'll check in on me. I have like 3 core people that I know that I can talk to if I need to in Web3, so they actually understand what's going on. Because, you know, you talk to people outside of Web3, like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's just a picture. Why are you so crazy? So having people in Web3 that I can actually talk to is really good. And just getting outside, I put a timer on for every few hours. Like, okay, I need to stand up, go outside, get some sun, sit in the backyard. But I've really been prioritizing mental health. Like, if on the weekend, all I want to do is lay on the couch, that's fine. And that's all I'm going to do is lay on the couch, because it can be a lot, because not only as an artist, you put your soul into your art, but then you're sharing it and you don't know how people are going to perceive it. And with the way social media works, if it's not enough likes, it's bad, right? So I really had to like, no, I'm doing the best work I can do. Somebody gonna see it, and that's all I can do.
Yeah, right, exactly. How would you define success in your perspective?
I used to say success is being able to get all my groceries at Whole Foods without like worrying about it. But success now is like, I just think about what I have now as opposed to like 3.5 years ago when I was almost homeless. I have my own place. I have my dream dog. I had always wanted a corgi. I'm able to help others. So for me, success isn't really monetary. It's the feeling of, I can do this, and I have the confidence in myself that I can do it. So I truly feel successful. Again, I learned 3D art back in January. 2 years ago, I tried it. I couldn't do it. But in my head, I'm successful because I'm able to have the time freedom, have the patience, build the skills, and then I'll be undeniable. But I used to think money was a marker of success. Money makes success easy, and money makes situations easy. And I do believe money can buy happiness. But the level of success that I want, I just want to be here in my little cute little 2-bedroom spot, being able to just create. And I've been able to do that.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Well, last but not least, where can people find you on social media? How can people support you and your work?
I'm on Twitter, X, whatever, Elon. I'm gonna call it Twitter. I'm on Twitter, Redacted Pride, Instagram. Everything is Redacted Pride. Redacted Pride because Black Pride, and you know how nobody actually wants to say that anymore, so I changed it to Redacted Pride. But I have a bunch of stuff on a bunch of different platforms. Email Brittany@BrittanyPierre.com if you want to commission me for work. But mostly, unfortunately, I'm on Twitter.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Thank you so much, Brittany, for jumping onto the show. I love what you're doing. I first met you when we was in spaces together with Betty at the Dead Fellas. I was like Dead Fellas Friday.
Yeah.
We first met. So it was cool to meet you. And I love what you're doing there again, is being about being Black first, you know, and helping others and things like that. So, you know, and thank you so much for also supporting me and, you know, shouting me out for my work. You know, I remember
your work is incredible. Incredible. So I look at some of your nails, I'll be like, how do you even paint that small without shaking? Like, it's crazy. Yeah, your work's incredible.
I really enjoyed this conversation, so thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Hello, everybody, and thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews involving NFTs, crypto, Web3, and the metaverse. Take care. Bye-bye.